Morning. Thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I was calling to ask, is it good to refinance 5 years into owning your first home?
It's a little bit open, and we actually get asked this question a lot. There's a bunch of wives' tales around refinancing, right? Oh, you shouldn't refinance unless you can save a full % on your interest rate. You shouldn't refinance for a certain amount of time. None of that is true, to be honest with you. So here's an example. I've refinanced people after 6 months before. And here's why. So when COVID hit, let's say you bought a house in January of 2020, right? Interest rates were, let's say, 3.5 at that point, right? Interest rates really good. Once COVID hit and we got to June, rates were at 2.5. So if you bought a house in January 2020 at 3.5, and in June of that same year you could refinance down to 2.5, would you do it? Absolutely, you'd do it. Mm-hmm. All the old wives' tales, if you will, would say you don't refinance after 6 months. It makes no sense to do it. It's all about the numbers. So, the time of refinancing, there is no I should wait a certain amount of time or anything like that. The time to refinance is when the numbers make sense and work. So that's what you got to look at. For example, another example. Let's say you bought a house with an FHA loan that's got mortgage insurance on it 5 years ago, right? That mortgage insurance on an FHA loan will never fall off. So now if you can refinance out of that FHA loan and you have enough equity in your house now to refinance to a conventional loan, and you can get rid of that mortgage insurance on that new conventional loan, absolutely makes sense all day. Even if your interest rate is not going down on that new conventional loan, you're still eliminating, the mortgage insurance, which could be, on a $200,000 house, that mortgage insurance is $187 a month.
Right.
It still makes sense to refinance and knock out that PMI, even though you're at the same rate on the new loan. So
it's a huge difference. And if you're knocking off that PMI, your payment might be about the same, but you could take that extra $180 a month and start throwing it at the principal if you wanted to pay it down fast. Yeah. Or you can, use it on other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And 5 years ago, Tyrell, if you bought your home 5 years ago, I can tell you that 99.9% of all purchases 5 years ago have 20% equity in their home right now, assuming that you didn't do a refinance or a second line of credit in the meantime, because homes have appreciated. Though they've appreciated more than 20% in the last 5 years, if you look at the Twin Cities metro market. But like Mike said, it's all about the numbers. You just run it side by side. What's the current payment? What does all that include? What's the refinance payment? What does that all include? He'll ask you questions like, when do you plan on selling? How long are you going to stay in the house? He can run numbers on how long it will take to recapture any refinancing costs, and just take a look at all the data.
Yeah, I really have like 6 questions I can ask. And once I have those answers, I could pretty much tell you off the top of my head if it's going to make sense or not. I won't be able to calculate how much interest you're going to save and stuff like that, right? But I'm going to know, okay, based on your scenario now, where things are at now, more than likely, yes, it's going to make sense for your finance. We should have you fill out an app so I can go through and put all those numbers together. Or no, it's definitely not going to make sense for your finance. Don't even waste your time filling out an app, because it's not going to make any sense for you.
Yeah. Tyrell was talking about a 5-year period, and I think it's pretty safe to say, pretty much anywhere in the Twin Cities, you've seen a huge gain in principal.
Yeah.
The market's been great.
Yes.
But that also means that you've got some equity that you can use.
Yes.